Hey, today I'm going to do a little bit of hobby update for you guys. I am working on my library project here in Denmark, and the project is basically a free library where you can borrow two armies and you can borrow a table for bold action. And the table was donated to me by Danny van der Roll of Tabletopper, or at least much of the terrain was. So, link to his shop down in the description. And this is sort of me showing you where I'm at in that building process. And you guys can also help me decide where to go from here, because there's a thing that I am not sure what I want to do yet. But let me just show you. So, here is the buildings that I've been doing. Let me show you these first here. So these sets were donated by Tabletopper. They're MDF kits, and I have prettied them up via accents. I'm still not done with that process. They still need to be prettied a little bit more. They still need a little bit more paint. But I am in the process of finishing that up, and I'm also in the process of doing signage on the buildings here. So you can see the outside gets a lot of signs. I decided very early on that I didn't want to do industrial looking stuff. I didn't want to do Stalingrad. So this is going to be German style cities for late war, I guess. A lot of these accents that you're seeing on this house, look at all these pretties here, they're just leftover bits from other MDF kits that I broke off and, put together. And there's a lot of, let me show you this, made sort of a roofing bit here. This, of course, the buildings are going to be bombed out. So right now I'm just finishing up how the building would look when they were newly painted and then later on they are going to get grimed. That's the next bit of the project, is to grime them up and to make them look a lot more worn. This side of the house, the back side here, I took some foam core and just bricked it up. Now, the inside has been done using what's that called, dollhouse wallpaper and flooring. So it's just paper that's glued on basically right now, and I promise it will look a lot prettier when it's done, when it's all grimed up and there's like stuff in the corners, and because right now it just looks like paper's been put on, which it has, right? The sides all got wallpaper on them on the inside, and I cut out the windows so it actually looks like people's been living in those, which is brilliant. It looks really cool. This one here got a different kind of flooring. I try to make sure that the floors are all a little bit different in different houses. The bottom here got something that looks like marble tiling. But again, I did some wallpaper, not everywhere, and some of it is ripped off, so it looks like it was a different room, or it's damaged or something. Yeah, oh, we can see that, right? So I did a lot of different accents. This is a blocked-in doorway of some sort. So that's all accents from my MDF box. I have a huge box of stuff that doesn't get used because it's just all sprues of MDF. For all of the houses that I did, I made a plan. This one, so I named all of them something. This one was a bank, so I found a little image online of different signage, and there's a little, not sure what that is, but somewhere where you can sort of talk to the people working in the bank from the outside, I think. Made the inside look a little bit more lush with tiled floors and stuff. red wallpaper inside. I made the base for some of them a lot larger than the actual outside. Oh, and by the way, this balcony is all like scratch built from my MDF kits. I made the base larger because these are going to be ruins, right? And that is one of the things that I want to ask you guys about. So in the comments, could you write your opinions once I give you the two options of what I'm going to do, right? Final building I want to show you, and I've got like 12, 14 of these buildings. So this is the final one I want to show you. This is really neat, right? Because what I'm doing here is I have two halves. This, by the way, is my brewery slash Bierstube. So it's like a cafe, a German cafe. You can go get Spätzle and Rotkohl, basically. Kartoffelsalat. Anywho, and they fit together because I made it so that they do. They fit neatly together, right? So it really looks like a single building. Or I can pull them apart and have two buildings, which I think is really, really, really neat. I really like that. So my question here is, there are two options to go from here, because yes, they're going to get grimed up. I'm going to get one of my friends to, make it look like that fire has been burning and there's soot coming out of the windows and whatnot. But they're also going to get rubbled, right? Because when a building collapses on itself, there is rubble. Now, there are two ways I can do this. One of them is permanent, and the other is definitely not. So this is a rubble base from my factory build. I built a red brick factory, and this is one of the rubble bases for just, rough ground. On an old CD, by the way. Really like that. CD terrain is a thing. Now, this rubble base, that's one way I could do these houses. Like, permanently rubble them up, put down a lot of glue and different shapes. This is like, there's brick shapes, there's bits of sprue, there's bits of old kits that I'm not going to use, that I've just cut up. So there are like metal bits stuck in there. There are some toothpicks and all kinds of different stuff just to get shapes into it. Now this looks really good and it sticks in place. And I could rubble that up in the center of these buildings or in like the corners, making them permanently rubbly. Or, and this is the second option, or I could not. I have here, let me show you, I have a box of MDF offcuts, right? And these are all broken up into smaller bits. And what I could do, and I've been doing this for a few test runs where I've set up my table, is you take this. By the way, this should all have a little bit of color, so I'm going to gray it up if I'm going to go this route, like grays and whites and blacks, I think. So what you do is you set down your terrain, and then you take a handful of this and then just dump it in. And go on a little bit of different floors as well. And then that looks very much, maybe not the big pieces here. That looks very much like a ruin, does it not? It's very easy to make. It's very easy to set up. And afterwards, you just pick up the ruin, dump everything back into the box. So that's the two routes I can go right now. A ruin that's not a ruin because you have a box of ruined bits basically that you pour into it, or a permanent ruin. Which one do you think would look the best? I know which one would look the best, but it's also a question of ease and packability and all kinds of stuff, right? Playability as well. So let me know in the comments, which one should I do? What do you think? That was it for me today. Hopefully there'll be a lot more V3 coming out soon. For me, I am going to the first tournament, World Open War, in a few days. So that, of course, will be taking up time here on the channel. There's also like a huge bunch of list reviews that I still need to get through. Tons of people are writing to me and asking for list reviews. So that is happening as well. And as soon as I get the lists for World Open War, I'll start going over those and doing some meta-analysis for V3, the first one we get. That's it from me. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.